So today I want to talk about how to make filters for Craftsman 19.2 volt vacuums. Now these handy dustbuster type vacuums, these little hand vacs, Craftsman made them in 19.2 volt and they also made them in 14.4 volt. This was basically a product made for Sears by Ryobi. And what we find is the filters for these Sears Craftsman vacs were discontinued over 3 years ago. They're very difficult to find. But Ryobi makes a similar product to the Craftsman one. And what they did is they changed the shape of the piece that holds the filter here. So this is the container where your vacuumed material goes in. And on the Ryobi style, they had indentations here. So what that did is it gives you a filter that looks like this, and you have these little indentations. Now with the Craftsman one, you don't have those indentations. So one way to get a filter is to use Ryobi filters, and the part number is right there, A32VCO2, and this pack gives you 2 filters, and they look like this. They are identical to the Craftsman filter, except the Ryobi part has this indentation and the Craftsman one doesn't. So what we'll do is we will sand this area, and we will use a hot glue gun to add material right here. And that's a very important thing to do. You don't want to use this filter in a Craftsman product without filling this area in, because that'll allow gas, dust, and material and air to be sucked through the vacuum into the motor, and it'll actually come out of these ports. Now this is a Ryobi filter inserted into the nozzle area of the Craftsman vacuum. And you can see how those little indentations will allow air and particulate to come past. So you have 2 of them, one on each side. We're going to address this. So what we're going to do is come right here, and we're going to sand these areas on both sides just to rough this up. And that'll help our glue adhere. So roughening this area up, so you can see right here where I went in and I sanded this with 100 grit paper, and it roughed that area up. And what that'll do is give us good adhesion for the hot glue gun. Now you have 2 kind of hot glue guns. You have a low temperature one and you have high temperature. And because this is not a very big patch, you can use either one to do the job. So I'm going to put a couple strips on there, and I'll get right back with you. So now I've laid several beads of hot glue on here. And what I would do after this is, if you want to clean it up, you can clean it up a little bit. I cut a little of the flashing off. But this shows you that you at home can actually repair and make filter adaptations like this, because there are millions of these Craftsman 19.2 and 14.4 volt vacs. We have 4 of them we use in the shop and at home here. And like I said, these filters hadn't been available for about 3 years. But you can see what you do is you just fill those holes in and you match the curvature. Now I'll insert it into the front of the vac and show you. So here's a good shot of the filter inserted. And the thing I like about the hot glue is it's flexible. So a lot of hot glues are pretty flexible, and you can see here how they seal the holes. And this will give you an airtight seal so that you can adapt these filters to other stuff. So that's the easy way to do it. It's very cheap to do it. You can do this as a service to other people. You can do it to keep a lot of your equipment going where otherwise you couldn't get spare parts. So another way of making a filter adapter for a Craftsman hand vac is you can take an old Craftsman filter, or you can reuse one of these you adapted, So once this filter paper is no good, you can take this filter paper out. And what you'll notice is there's a square rectangular rim on here. And I found this filter on eBay. I put in Craftsman and it brought this up. I don't know what it actually goes in, but you have two holes here, and the actual diameter of this is smaller than the Craftsman or the Ryobi. So what you can do is remove this filter material, and what you'll find is this thing will sit down on top of here, and you can actually hot glue this to this rim, and you can do that as an adapter also. But what I find is just adapting these Ryobis works really good, because all you do is fill this in with really cheap hot glue. Once you do it a couple times, you'll get really good at it, so you don't have to trim or anything. And this is an easy at-home modification where you can keep your old equipment going. So please share your thoughts. We'll see you on the next video.